Welcome to Assistedge RPA DataTable use case demo webinar. In this webinar, we shall look at a hypothetical use case to explore the DataTable functionality with Assistedge RPA. Let's get started. Seaside Logistics uses an ERP suite to manage their employees. The IT admins are required to maintain everyday attendance records of their employees of all the departments. The IT admins can download the zip file of the attendance records, which contains the Excel file for the respective department, and perform various operations. The different operations an IT admin performs are: he first extracts the attendance record zip file containing Excel files of each day's attendance record for all the departments. He then searches for all the Excel files in the extracted folder and perform operations on each Excel file. He then removes the employees who've left the organization from every department. He maintains a separate sheet of department employees. He segregates the data based on the attendance status, maintains a separate sheet of present and absent employees. He sorts the data of the department employees, present employees, and absent employees based on employee names. And finally, he saves the data of department employees, present employees, and absent employees into a separate Excel file containing current date timestamp. This is a view of the sample Excel sheet, where, as we see in the Excel sheet, we have employees who are present, absent, or with the status of exit. In this example, the IT admins have to remove the employees who have exited the system, and all the present employees information they move into a separate Excel, and an absent employees information move in a different Excel. Let's go ahead and look at the demo. I have attendance records.zip downloaded from the ERP system. As an IT admin, my first responsibility is to extract this zip file. The extracted zipped file has data for different departments in the form of Excel sheets, namely finance, HR, and marketing. Let's open the finance department sheet, where we have information for all employees who are present, absent, or have exited the system. My daily job is to pull records of employees with status as exit from this main sheet into a separate master Excel. Records with present employees into a separate present Excel, and likewise records with absent employees into a separate absent Excel. Let's understand the process for the same. To store the path for the attendance records.zip file on the desktop, I have an argument named zip file path, which is pointing to the attendance records.zip. Another argument, zip extraction location, which is saving the path of the desktop folder. This argument will be used to save the extracted zipped file. These two arguments are displayed in the arguments section of the process. To unzip the attendance records.zip file, drag and drop the file operations activity and select the unzip operation for the same. The source path is bound to the file path to be unzipped. This path is saved in the zip file path argument. The destination path is bound to the path where the extracted file should be created and is saved in the zip extraction location. This will unzip the attendance records.zip file, and the extracted file will be saved on the desktop itself. As the next step, I want to find all the information for all the files present in the extracted folder, and for which drag and drop the file search activity. The file search activity expects the value of the path of the folder to be searched, which is saved in the zip extracted directory argument. The pattern of files to search, which is saved in the file search pattern argument, and based on the specified pattern, it stores all the file's information into an Excel file, and the name of the file with complete path is saved in an argument named output file search. Let's test run the process and look at the extracted folder with 3 files and the output attendance sheets that gets generated. This sheet has file information with data as file name, size, type, path, etc. Drag and drop an Excel loop activity to iterate the generated attendance sheets.xls. Drag and drop the import data table activity to import the finance.xls data into a data table. Select the finance.xls Excel, select sheet as sheet 1 to be imported, and data table name as employee details, and check the headers option. Sort the employee details data table on the basis of name column with records arranged in ascending order. Drag and drop the count row column activity to count the total number of rows and columns in the data table. Save the number of rows and columns into 2 arguments, count of rows in Excel and count of columns in Excel. Drag and drop a create data table activity to store present and absent employees information with columns as employee number, name, department, and status. To add rows to these 2 data tables, I have created an argument counter and initialized to 0. Drop a while activity, and while activity will execute task until the counter is less than the total number of rows in the Excel. This while activity calls the getData activity to extract the values of employee number, name, status, department columns at each row index into different arguments, namely attendance status, EMP number, EMP name, and EMP department. The row index property is mapped to the counter variable that has an initial value set to 0 and is incremented in the while activity. Drop the if activity to check if the attendance status argument has a value of exit. If yes, in the then block, drop a remove row activity. The remove row activity removes the row at the specified index from the employee details data table. And further, since the row is removed, decrement the count of rows in the count of rows Excel argument. However, if the attendance status argument has value of present, in the then block, drop the add row activity to add a row to the present employees data table with values passed in the form of arguments to the data table columns. If the attendance status is not present, in the else block, drop add row activity to add a row to the absent employees data table with values passed in the form of arguments to the data table columns. To export the data table's information into different Excel files, drop the export data table activity to export employee details, present employees, and absent employees' names appended with keywords present, absent, and current date timestamp. Let's run the process and validate the output. For each department, 3 additional files get created. The first that just has employees who are present and absent, the second that has employees who are present, and the third one that has employees who are absent. In this webinar, we learned a video for DataTable use case. Thank you.